Kevin Costner named the top 8 most beautiful women ever. Few actors have worked with more famous leading ladies than Kevin Costner. From his big start in the 1980s all the way to his hot comeback on Yellowstone, Costner has acted with Hollywood's most amazing women over 4 whole decades. But besides just acting with them, Costner has sometimes shared super honest thoughts about the women who really stuck with him the most during his career. Kevin has this special way of looking at things, said a friend who's worked with Costner on lots of movies. He's been the main guy in love stories with some of the most gorgeous women in Hollywood history. But he sees beauty in a deeper way than just looks. For him, it's about how someone carries themselves, how smart they are, and this special realness that he spots right away. Tonight, we share Kevin Costner's own list of the 8 women who have amazed him the most in his life and in movies. From old movie stars he looked up to from far away to co-stars who made big marks on him by working right next to him. These picks show not just what Costner thinks is pretty, but his bigger love for the things that turn regular good looks into the kind of beauty that lasts forever. With my daughter, wow, and when the moment happened where the wrong envelope was handed to them, us. Annette Bening, the strong presence. At number 8 on Costner's list is Annette Bening, an actress who mixes old-school training with her natural way of being, making her super magnetic on screen. Even though they've never played main love interests together, Costner has talked many times about how much he likes Bening's special mix of perfect skills and real feelings. Classy, smart, and hard to miss, Costner said about her in a 2015 Hollywood Reporter talk. What makes Annette special isn't just her clear talent, but how she turns normal scenes into something you remember. She brings this super sharp focus to every part that makes everyone else step up their game. What really wows Costner about Bening is her strong presence, the way she takes over any scene just by being herself, not by big acting tricks or fancy looks. This matches Costner's own real and natural way of acting, building a respect that has lasted through their careers side by side. She doesn't just walk into a room, she owns it. Costner has said in talks when chatting about actresses he looks up to. There's nothing fake about her work. She just is on screen with so much belief that you can't look away even when things are quiet. Even though they've only met at big events and award shows, not on a movie set, Costner has always said Bening is someone he'd love to work with. This respect shows how he likes actors who give everything to their job while staying totally real. Even without a big role together, he's called her his dream person to act with, said a person who casts movies and has worked with both. Kevin has this list of actors he wants to team up with before he stops, and Annette has been high on that list for years. He sees in her the same promise to do honest acting that he always tries for in his own parts. What puts Bening on Costner's list of most beautiful women is how her looks go hand in hand with her smarts and skills, making a full package that shows exactly what Costner loves most in the women he works with. A little bit about your character in the film. Yeah, I play Ally Parker. She's the head of the salary cap of the Cleveland Browns, and she happens to be Jennifer Garner, the natural glow. Costner's love for Jennifer Garner grew when they worked together in the 2014 movie Draft Day. Working side by side showed Costner things about Garner that fit perfectly with what he likes, real, not trying too hard beauty plus being great at the job. They were in Draft Day together and Costner was really charmed, said the movie's director, Ivan Reitman. There was this quick work chemistry between them that made shooting their scenes so easy. Kevin would finish a scene and talk about how nice it was to work with someone so ready and so naturally there in every second. What really got Costner about Garner was how she stayed totally real no matter what the scene needed, bringing the same down-to-earth feel to sad parts, funny bits, and the tough football talk. This steadiness matched Costner's love for actors who stay true even when movies feel fake. He called her natural, glowing, and calm in the middle of chaos, said a person on the Draft Day team. During one hard scene with tons of tricky lines, Kevin turned to the director after and said, "That's what it looks like when someone isn't pretending to get it. She really does." It was this perfect mix of being smart and naturally there that really blew him away. Costner's like for Garner went past her work skills to her real kindness with everyone on set, and how she skipped the usual fake Hollywood stuff that bugs him in others. This realness clicked with Costner's own simple way of living and working. He once said, "Some actresses try to seem real, she just is." Remembered a producer who worked with both. Kevin has this knack for spotting anything fake in how people act. With Jennifer, what hit him was no difference between the real her and the famous her. What you saw was really who she was on camera and off. This match between who she is in public and private is something Costner has come to care about more as his career goes on. He's moved away from fake Hollywood images toward real bonds both in movies and in his own life. Really? Wow, see, that's what happens when you had a thing with her is. Susan Sarandon, the smart spark. Few movie pairs in Costner's life had more real spark than his work with Susan Sarandon in the 1988 baseball hit Bull Durham. Their parts together buzzed with brainy and body tension that went way past the words, making a link that Costner still talks about when he shares about the most beautiful women he's worked with. They made real magic in Bull Durham and the spark wasn't made up, said the movie's director, Ron Shelton. What Kevin loved in Susan wasn't just her clear beauty but her amazing brain. Their scenes worked because they were really pushing each other with ideas, making this perfect mix of mind and body pull that you can't pretend. What really grabbed Costner about Sarandon was how she showed both deep thoughts and sexy feelings at the same time, a mix he often says is the best kind of beauty. This fit perfectly with her character Annie Savoy, the baseball fan with a thinker's heart. Costner called her the smartest, sexiest woman I've ever acted with, said someone from the movie team. After their first big scene, Kevin came off set and told me, "Working with her is like playing tennis with a great partner. Every hit comes back with something new that makes you better." That brain challenge clearly excited him as much as the love scenes. The mark Sarandon left on Costner has lasted way after they worked together, with Costner often calling her the example of the kind of smart, exciting team-up he loves most with leading ladies. This love has grown over time as he's thought more about what makes real movie chemistry. He said, "She had the eyes of someone who knew the whole story and let you think you were just now getting it." Shared a writer who talked to Costner about his favorite co-stars. Years after Bull Durham, he still brought up that quality in Susan, how she could show full knowing and mystery at once. For him, that mix of knowing and holding back was what makes a woman really grab you on screen. This lasting feeling shows Costner's love for beauty that comes from full joining in brain, heart, and body, instead of just surface stuff that gets attention but doesn't keep it. Serious actresses can't have big bosoms. Is that what you mean? Well, I think that they might sort of detract from the performance. Helen Mirren, the beauty that never ages. Even though Costner and Helen Mirren never had big scenes together, his respect for her is different on his list. It's respect that almost feels like worship for a woman who has changed how beauty and sexy feelings can grow through a whole career. Costner's respect for her is almost like worship, said a producer who worked with both separately. When Helen's name comes up with Kevin, his voice changes right away. This rare mix of work respect and real wonder that you don't hear from him about other stars, no matter how big. What really impresses Costner about Mirren is how she keeps both class and sexy feelings through all the years of her career. She never tries to look younger than she is, but she never gives up her womanly power. This honest taking of every age stage is, for Costner, a super strong kind of beauty. He said, "Helen isn't just beautiful, she's timeless." Remembered a director who talked about Mirren with Costner before a movie. Kevin made this cool point that most actresses fight time, while Helen seems to team up with it. That way of growing older, taking each part of life instead of fighting it, clearly matches his own ideas about being real. Even with his own big fame, Costner has said he feels real nervous around Mirren, a rare thing he admits that shows how much he admires her calm, skill, and lasting class. This different feeling shows the special spot she has in his personal list of admired women. Even on red carpets, he said, "I still get nervous around her," shared someone who handles events with both stars there. For someone like Kevin, who's worked with everyone and stays so calm and sure, to admit that is huge. It shows how much he respects not just her skill, but her whole way of moving through Hollywood while staying totally real. This love for Mirren's full way of mixing beauty, talent, and getting older shows Costner's changing view on what real beauty is, going past young looks to love the richer, deeper things that come fro. Am a life really lived and accepted? The parenthood part is kind of the best dish that I saw in the script. I loved it. Diane Lane, the pull of being real. Few actresses have worked with Costner as much or as well as Diane Lane. Their many movies together, like Man of Steel and Let Him Go, have built a quick trust and way of working that lets them make super real connections on screen. They've done several films together, including Let Him Go and Man of Steel, said the director of Let Him Go, Thomas Bezucha. What's cool about seeing them work is this instant comfort. No need to warm up. They jump straight into a relationship that feels old and true, which is super rare even for pros. What Costner really loves in Lane is her full promise to show true feelings, her bravery to go deep into weak moments without worrying about looking perfect. This bravery makes a pull that Costner talks about a lot when he shares what makes some actresses extra special on screen. Costner has called her deep, steady, and magnetic. Shared a camera person from Let Him Go. During one really emotional scene, Kevin watched Diane on the monitor between his parts and just shook his head in wow. He turned to me and said, "That's as good as it gets, full give with nothing held back." That bravery to show feelings totally is something he clearly finds beautiful past just looks. Their work spark has grown through many projects into big respect for each other, with each pulling out special things in the other's acting. For Costner, Lane is the perfect person to act with, someone whose full being lets him go deep into feelings without feeling watched. He once said, "When she's in the scene, you forget the camera's even there." Remembered a producer who worked with both. That's the biggest compliment Kevin can give another actor, that they help make moments so real the movie stuff vanishes. With Diane, he feels that link every time, which is why he keeps looking for more projects with her. This love for Lane's way of making real feeling spaces in fake movie world shows Costner's top value, being real above everything. A view that has only gotten stronger over his many years in movies. Bridget Bardot, the forever dream. Not all the women on Costner's list are people he worked with. Bridget Bardot, the famous French actress and sexy star of the 1950s and 60s, has a special spot in his mind as the picture of beauty from that time that hit him hard when he was young. Even though they never met, Costner once said in a talk, "If you grew up in the 60s and didn't fall in love with Bardot, you weren't alive." Remembered a writer who's talked a lot with Costner. There was something almost dreamy in how he talked about her. This nod to how certain pictures and ideas shape what we think beauty is when we're young. What makes Bardot special on Costner's list is how she stands for beauty as something big in culture, not just personal knowing, admitting how some people become the main example for whole groups of people. For Costner, Bardot showed a free woman energy that felt new and bold back then. Classic beauty, hard-to-touch mystery, Costner said about her in a chat about big movie stars. What grabbed him about Bardot wasn't just her clear body beauty, but how she showed a sense of freedom that was wild for her time. This bold, sexy feeling that broke old rules while making new ones. Unlike what he says about women he's worked with, Costner's love for Bardot is more dreamlike, a nod to beauty as a big cultural thing instead of one-on-one. This view shows he gets how movie pictures shape what everyone thinks beauty is over years. For Kevin, Bardot is almost like a myth, explained a director who's talked movie history a lot with Costner. She's not a real person to him, but an idea. This perfect picture of a time in movies when women's sexy side was changing on screen. His love isn't for the real woman he's never met, but for what she stood for in culture. Putting in a movie star he's never met shows Costner's bigger idea of beauty as something we all talk about together. Seeing how our own tastes come from shared pictures and ideas that mark certain times. The store I bought it in Jackson in California, and it was a blouse, and I said, "Oh, it's such a beautiful blouse. It's too bad." Raquel Welch, the power of just being there. Like Bardot, Raquel Welch stands for Costner as a big beauty from her time. A woman whose strong mark in 1970s movies left a huge print on a whole group of young guys, including Costner himself. Her spot on his list nods to how some screen people can set what beauty means for years. He once called her the reason every boy wanted to go to the movies in the 1970s. Shared a friend who's talked movie influences with Costner. There was this wow in how he described her effect. This knowing that some screen people go past normal to become big signs that shape how whole groups see beauty. What really wowed Costner about Welch was how she fully owned her image and being there, a sureness that turned her from just pretty to truly legendary. This cell phone made a screen being that grabbed attention just by her strong self, not only looks. Even years later, he said she walked like she knew every camera was already on her, remembered a producer who worked with Costner in the 1990s. Kevin has this idea about screen being there that the best actors don't chase the camera but just expect it, making a pull you can't fight. Rackwell showed that perfectly for him. Like his love for Bardot, Costner's pick of Welch shows he gets beauty as something cultural, nodding to how some people become the dream of certain times. This look back shows his love for how beauty ideas change over years while some big people keep their power. What Kevin loves in Rackwell isn't just the clear physical beauty, but the full sureness she had in taking up space on screen, explains someone who's talked big actresses with Costner. That mix of beauty and total cell phone made something stronger than either alone, a being there that marked an era while going past it. This love for Welch's big effect shows Costner's idea of beauty as an ongoing chat between actors and watchers. A lively give and take that makes legends whose reach goes way past their movies or time. Yeah, well, let's get this over with. Okay, give me a kiss. Whitney Houston, the heart that touched him deepest. At the top of Costner's list is Whitney Houston, a pick that shows the huge effect of their work on The Bodyguard and the deep personal link that went way past just work. Her number one spot as his most beautiful woman ever talks about beauty that includes way more than looks. Costner didn't just like her beauty, he loved her, said the producer of The Bodyguard, who saw their bond grow during making the movie. What made Whitney special in Kevin's eyes was this amazing open heart under her huge talent and beauty. He saw in her something most missed, this deep soul and unsure feeling behind her strong public side. Their link started before filming even began when Costner pushed hard to pick Houston even when the studio worried about her no acting past. This early fight showed his quick spot of things in Houston others missed. A depth and realness he knew would shine on screen even without acting know-how. In The Bodyguard, he fought to cast her when no one else believed in her, said a Warner Brothers boss on the movie. The studio had big doubts about making such a costly film around a new actress, but Kevin was dead set. He kept saying, "There's something in her eyes that you can't teach. A realness that shows no matter what experience." That belief never shook during making. What came out while filming was a bond that went past normal co-star stuff. A caring helping link where Costner guided Houston through her first big acting job while building a true personal friendship that lasted until her sad death in 2012. The beauty Kevin saw in Whitney was many-sided, explained someone from the Bodyguard team. It wasn't just her clear physical beauty or her amazing voice. It was this mix of huge gift and real softness that brought out something protective in him. He saw both her big talent and the weak side that came with it. This full love ended in Costner's very touching speech at Houston's funeral, a moment that showed the lasting mark she left on him, both in work and personal. His open talk about their bond in such a big place showed the one-of-a-kind spot she had in his life and career. He spoke at her funeral and said, "She was the most beautiful person I ever stood beside inside and out," remembered someone there. What stood out in Kevin's words was how he talked about her real self, not her fame, about the person he knew, not the star everyone saw. That difference showed how deep he connected with the true Whitney under the famous image. Houston's top spot on Costner's list talks about his idea of beauty as something that comes from full mixing of outside looks with inside things. The perfect match of gift being there, soft side, and realness that makes something way more than usual beauty. She wasn't just a co-star, she was unforgettable, Costner has said in talks when thinking back on their work. This list shows something deep about how Kevin sees beauty, said a director who's worked close with Costner. For him to put Whitney above big screen beauties like Bardot and Welch shows his idea goes way past looks to include the full human link. The times when outside beauty gets lit up by inside light. As we look at Costner's picks of the most beautiful women he's met through his career, patterns show up that tell his changing idea of beauty itself. From the classic movie queens who grabbed him when young to the full, many-layer women he's worked with close, his list shows a path from liking usual beauty to loving the deeper things that make truly unforgettable being there. Kevin's choices tell. A story about how his view has grown up, said a director who's worked with Costner over years. The younger Kevin might have mostly liked the clear beauty of people like Bardot and Welch. The older, wiser Kevin knows that while those special qualities stay strong, the beauty that really lasts comes from mixing outside looks with real inside depth. This growing matches Costner's own path as an actor and movie maker, moving from usual leading guy roles in his early days to stories that dig into harder feelings and need deeper links. As his own work has gotten deeper and smarter, so has his love for the same things in the women he works with. What's extra telling about Costner's list is how it mixes saying yes to legendary beauty with personal links. By putting in both faraway icons like Bardot and close partners like Houston and Lane, he shows he gets beauty as both big culture thing and one-on-one feeling, seeing how these parts mix but aren't the same. Whitney's top spot is the key to getting Kevin's view, said someone who knew both Costner and Houston. By putting their true human link above the more dreamlike love of screen queens, he's saying clear what beauty means to him at the deepest. It's not just about who makes the biggest picture impression, but about who touches something real inside him as a person. This main thing shows Costner's bigger life ideas as he's moved into the wise older star part of his career. Like his move to stories with real meaning and deep feelings, his love of beauty has grown to value realness, soft side, and true links above more surface or usual things. The main thing in all his picks is realness, said a longtime friend who's watched Costner's work and personal changes. Whether it's the bold sexy of Bardot, the pulling being there of Lane, or the soulful soft side of Houston, what Kevin loves most strongly is women who show themselves without fake or acting, who bring their full real selves to their work and how they talk with people. This like for real over perfect, real stuff over surface, and links over image gives a surprisingly thoughtful view from a guy who spent his career in a business often called out for being shallow. Through his picks, Costner shows that true beauty comes not from fitting usual rules, but from going past them through mixing outside looks with real inside depth.